Have some fun with my Kiwi Lane kits and templates today. Today's layout is going to start with this super cute pattern paper. This was in the, I think, May or June Kiwi Lane kit. I love this paper, and so I want to create a layout where it is on show. So I want to have a lot of it on the paper, but it's busy. So I'm definitely going to need to be careful with how I design my layout, what other elements I use on it, but I also want to be able to have a lot of this paper showing. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start by folding my paper on the diagonal. I'm going to burnish it really good with my Teflon bone folder so I get a really, really good crease in the paper. I don't have a paper trimmer that will cut a diagonal sheet of paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to burnish this really, really good with my bone folder and then cut it with my scissors. The scissors will stay in that fold really well so I get a nice straight cut on my paper. And then you can see here how that kind of breaks up that busy paper. And you have two options. So I'm trying to decide if I want it at the bottom or at the top, and I decide to go with the top. So now I'm just going to go ahead and ink up the edges of the top and adhere it down to my page. And now I can go ahead and decide how I want to choose my photos, or not how I want to choose them, but how I want to mat them. I'm going to use this yellow paper for that, and I'm going to go through my Kiwi Lane templates and choose the ones that I think will work really, really well with my design idea for this layout. I want to try to pull in as many of the colors from that pattern paper into different areas of my layout to give it a nice cohesive look. I do tend to shy away from using lots and lots of colors on my page, but these are pictures from an amusement park with the raccoon, so I feel like we can do some fun, bright, more multi-photo or multicolor layout today. I chose a couple cards from the kit. The first one is going to be my journal card, and then the other two, I am going to cut those into some different tag shapes. I am going to dip into my stash for this metal tag die cut. This metal die is from Emily Moore Designs, and it's from her card essentials set. I love it. It's so cute. I love this tag. I love that whole entire card essentials set. It's amazing. Now I'm going to go through all of my fun Kiwi Lane templates and decide which ones I want to use for this layout. I decide right away that I love this heart with the little arrow. I'm going to find a tag template that is going to fit my other card. I'm going to choose that smile, and I'm going to have a lot of fun with that smile. One that's going to become like my main title. There's going to be a lot of typography on this layout when I'm all done. A lot of typography and a lot of arrows. So here are all of the Kiwi Lane templates I've chosen to use today, and I'm going to cut them from all different pattern papers from the kit. I cut and used the smile one almost like I would use a cut file. And I have added some pen work to all of those Kiwi Lane templates. If you take a peek at my channel, I quite often share how I turn the templates upside down, trace the design, and then fussy cut them. And then I add details with black and white pens, both of them. And this time, my phone was going dead, so I had to pull it off and stop recording and charge it up while I worked with the template. So that's why I just showed you all of them really close up after they were all finished. Just one of those technical difficulties that I had that day, but I also didn't have a lot of time to kind of like stop and wait and So we just went with it. I think this was the second or third video I filmed that day too. So my battery had done its job. I'm going to add a strip of this multicolored washi right to my seam for a little bit of added color pop and also to give that edge nice. I like to have a nice, when I do a diagonal background, I really like to have that edge be very nice. And as I layer stuff on top of this page, this washi tape is just going to provide just the little bit pop of color kind of underneath a lot of the elements. I pulled a bunch of stuff together. In addition to all the things I hand cut with my Kiwi Lane templates, I also went ahead and grabbed some acrylic and some other pieces from my stash. And I'm going to kind of play around with them here to get them in the right places. Some of these things I ended up using, some of them I didn't. Like that acrylic piece got put right back into the stash. Even though it matches beautifully, I just couldn't find a good home for it. And I didn't want the acrylic piece competing with that smile at the bottom. I feel like that smile piece turned out so good. And I really wanted it to act as the title of my page, and I didn't want to have like two competing titles. I hope that makes sense. So we're not going to use that acrylic piece. And actually there is a little flare piece that I meant to use and didn't, and you can see that on the close-ups for my page today. So I'm just going to move everything around. I'm trying to make it even. So even on the sides, even at the top and bottom, I'm really looking for balance of color, balance of design, and those kinds of things as I put this layout together. And now I'm going to try to not move everything too much because I really like this design. And so I'm going to try to kind of pull one thing up at a time and get them all back down in the same spot. And ta-da! I did it! Yay! Okay, so now let's talk about adding things onto our layout that is not paper. So when you're working with a Kiwi Lane kit, it's really easy to get all into the paper. And don't get me wrong, love my paper, but it's always good to have some elements on your scrapbook page that are a little bit of a different texture and are not paper. So for this page, I have that flare that I'm going to add, and you'll see those at the end on the layout. I have that little wood veneer piece that I put just at the bottom of my photo as a little subtitle, and now I'm going to add some sequins. Now, Spiegel Mom Scraps, this particular kit has perfectly coordinating sequins. They're called Capture Today. I will link them up in the description box below for you. I used all of mine on another page that I did that was all with shakers. I made little triangle shakers, and I used the whole both two packs of sequins that I had. So I went through my stash and I just found a mix in my stash that had some yellows and some blues and some pink, like pinky red or pinky orange sequins. And I'm just going to add some sequin details to all three of these arrows using my Crystal Katana jewel picker and some Nouveau Deluxe adhesive. Those are my favorites. And actually, Nouveau Deluxe adhesive is my favorite wet glue, and they just came out with bottles of it that are twice the size. Which just makes me so happy. So I will link that up in the description box below. But that's going to finish up our layout for today. Anything that is available for purchase in my video, I will be sure to link it up in the description box. Thank you so very much for joining me today. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. I actually have a pretty full video schedule for the next couple days. Lots of hops, lots of series, and I hope you enjoy everything. Bye!